Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. Matt Ricketts is joining us today, and Ajia is she in? She out? Yes, Ajia Holiday is our special guest today. Hey, Ajia, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Thought maybe you changed your mind.
Yeah, I ran away last minute. No, I forgot to shut my door.
Well, we've had stranger things. We've had stranger things happen.
Yeah, we have. I know you're not going to leave those dogs in the room, though. That's not happening.
No.
How many dogs you got there? What's going on in the
3?
in the canine world?
I've got 3 dogs with me. I have 3 dogs now.
Is that SOP? They're there every day?
Pretty much. Yeah. I usually bring a combination. I'll bring like 1 and leave 2 at home. But today I brought all 3 of them because they're all very needy today.
Okay.
So, Tom, you're going to love this. She was on vacation last week, and she only took 1 of her dogs on vacation with her. And because of that, she felt guilty. So she made that dog stay home and let the other dogs come to work with her yesterday.
Do you think the dogs like related to that and appreciated the consideration?
I don't know if their critical thinking skills are high enough for that, but I do think they felt a little abandoned by me.
It made you feel better.
Yeah, I feel better. I feel so much better about it now.
She wasn't taking the chance that they were going to hold a grudge.
No, absolutely not. No, they're still very needy though.
I love that.
Any news going on out there?
Hey, Liz.
No.
You usually know the news, Tom. You or Matt. Matt, you know anything cool going on right now?
This is the news right now that Tom's got up. I got a letter about that even I qualify for a little.
Yeah,
wow.
I did too. I'm excited. The child tax credit monies are going out this week and are starting to go out this week. And if you got a child under 6, and if your household income is less than $150,000, then you'll be getting a check for $300 for the next 6 months every month.
Wow.
If you got a kid between the ages of let's say 6 and 17, you'll be getting $250
well
a month.
Ajia, don't you feel like you're just getting ripped off?
Nothing in here for
I didn't have
dogs.
to
Just
deal
think
with
if you
having
got this for
kids during
dogs and you
COVID.
got 3 of them, you'd be making bank.
I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like I made out like a bandit because I didn't have kids during COVID and having to deal with homeschooling and all of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, praise no children right now.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And I said for the end of the year, it's going to be a total of either $3,600 or $3,000. So they'll be getting that either $300 or $250 for the next 12 months.
Nice.
Yeah, this one is kind of another one that kind of a head scratcher at this point, but it was originally put in place almost a year ago that they wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
So this was not this last one, was it? Was this the one that was written last year, Tom, or did this one come into place?
This was done earlier this year, I believe.
Oh, okay, so this one was the one that happened in January. Okay, I wasn't sure if that one, if it was the one that was prior to this, and it just took a while to kick in. So all is running well. Got a ERC check. I'm sure most of us are starting to see some benefits from that. I'm making some big investments on my Spanish language side of my business and hiring a Spanish language recruiter and really doubling down on that path that I had really working for me in the past. So that's an investment that I'm making and I think is worthwhile. Anybody else got anything like that they're doing with the money?
Not me, nothing yet. Also, my company has told us, Matt, that we could be looking at up to 6 months. The IRS is taking up to 6 months, 2 quarters to process the ERC. So,
yeah, I mean, I got 1 check already, and there's quite a little bit left to go. So, I'm I'm looking forward to those, to what we can do to reinvest that and really grow in the rest of the year. As far as I had a conversation with Tom, we're back to 95% of pre-COVID revenue, but this kind of really ties into the topic today is I have 75% of the staff doing 95% of the revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had 704 recurring service sets, which is a made central term, but that would be like a scheduled cleaning for a customer. So some customers have multiple service sets or whatever, but I had roughly 700 customers. Let's just use a number that everybody's familiar with. And I only have 580 today. And again, 95% of pre-COVID revenue, and we're not doing any one-time work. So what we've done is we've increased scheduling frequency of our customers that we have. We did a few things to do that. And then we've raised our rates and are getting more per every job. I think that's kind of what we should all be shooting for. Ajia, are you seeing something like that?
Yeah, actually extremely similar. Because we were about 750 clients around COVID.
Laura had to be bigger than me, by the way. It was no, I'm kidding.
What?
Laura had to be bigger than me.
Just a little bit. We had shrunk probably 100 clients the year previous. So we'd been about 850 in 2018 and dropped down to 750. And then, COVID, I mean, we lost 120, 130. We hovered around the 600 for a little bit, and then we leveled out about 640 until February this year. And now we just hit 700 again this week. So
nice.
We definitely exploded in the last couple of months. And same thing, not doing one-times, single jobs at all, and raised our rates, booking like absolute crazy right now. I think we have 20 new clients on the board already this month.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
That is exciting. I use a kind of a points method. I know you kind of do too.
Mm-hmm.
The points thing is like off the charts. If anyone's not familiar with points, you kind of count, like I count like a monthly as a quarter of a point. Some people count them as 1 point, 2 points. So I kind of do it a little differently, but we're up 10 points, which would be like 40 points with the old system where it's like, and you guys, sounds like you guys are up like 40 points this month?
Yeah, we're almost, I think at the end of today, we'll probably be up 50.
Wow. So that point structure is just a way to kind of equalize what every customer is worth. Cause it's saying that a monthly is worth a little bit less than a biweekly, and a biweekly is worth a little bit less than a weekly customer, right? So it just kind of equalizes that. So that is a banner month. What's your best month ever? Do you know?
80 points up. So
we're the 14th. I think you're going to beat that.
Yeah. And we're also putting out another price increase, a really, really large price increase this month, because we're still having issues with staffing. So we're having a hard time keeping up with it. And we have a lot of people that are underpriced and kind of want to reallocate some of that. So we might still only end up breaking even. But
yeah, we had a little bit of a level off as we did a price increase last month. You might see that. That's kind of interesting. So Tom, we're here to talk about scheduling efficiency and things like that.
Scheduling, production planning, production management. I mean, you guys are kind of talking about it here. I mean, you haven't said it directly or literally, but what you're describing here is a scenario where you guys are making more gross profit, more net profit, and cleaning fewer homes to do it, and actually doing it with fewer cleaning professionals. So, that's really kind of a magic thing, isn't it? It's not how many homes you clean, it's how much money you make. You guys are describing that.
And hopefully how much profit you make would be even better, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, that's really the thing. I mean, we're really, up until we hired about 11 people in the last few weeks, we were hovering around 38% direct, revenue to payroll. And right now we're at 40.7. We actually, I don't like to go above 40, but it is what it is. The last couple of weeks we've been above 40. with all these new hires. But I'm okay with that because I know that in a few weeks we'll be pushing that number down as all these people kind of get back up and running. But that's the crazy thing, Liz, is that we're generating more revenue per employee, which obviously means more profitability. Like we're getting 300 plus per employee at this point per day, really, and it would be closer to 320 if I didn't have all these new hires on the board. So what about you? Do you know what you're producing per employee at this point, or just a rough guess?
It's definitely across the board. Thankfully, Made Central makes it really easy, so I'm just going to pop over and look at that real quick.
Good job, Ajia. Good job.
It makes it real easy. So I would say probably about that.
Look, while you're looking it up real quick, I just want to say hey to a bunch of people over here that we haven't said anything to. Liz, I'm curious where you're located, 95 over there. And hey, Phyllis, Katerina, Diane. Somebody, Phyllis is saying Lakeisha Holiday. Does that have anything to do with you? Does that mean anything, Ajia?
She's probably tagging a friend to watch in today.
Just since Aja's last name is Holiday, I thought, well, maybe she's related or something.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. All right. Well, good to know. Good to see everybody over there. Grass Valley.
Grass Valley.
I remember that. Yeah. Sorry.
Is that what they smoke there? How does that work?
That's Colorado.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
Colorado.
Grass
You're
Valley.
Thinking about Washington, y'all.
Colorado was first though. Maybe it was Washington. It was
the same year.
Yeah, same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think Colorado was just more excited about it. They advertised it more.
I think that's yeah.
So I think we're looking at between that 250 to 330 range on average per technician per day.
Okay.
So some that do like 350, 375 a day that are absolutely insane, but I would say all around that 300 mark is pretty average.
I'm like really a big fan of kind of looking at like the productivity of my employees, in micro, like each individual. But I'll give a shout out to Lacey. She's probably not watching, but I have an incredible team member called named Lacey, and she is like 150%, her average productivity on house cleaning. So if you give her a 3-hour job, she does it in 2. And what I love about that is that Made Central or whatever production software that you use, if you pay your employees that way, as long as the quality scores are good, it really encourages your best people. Lacey's been with me for 7 years, and she really does an amazing job. Her customer scores are incredible, and she basically only needs to work 20 hours a week to get a full-time check. I mean, it's a pretty good deal. So
there's one thing I don't like about that. So Matt, you're in St. Louis, and you're on here periodically, and anybody that hears anything about you, everybody knows about Lacey. But y'all, why is that person the outlier? I really want it to be so that we have 95% of our employees are Lacey's, and only 5% are these other people that are not.
You have to have a baseline, Liz. Lacey brings up everyone, but you're always gonna have outliers.
Yeah.
And people that are gonna be the outliers. I've got 3 or 4 people I could shout out to Savannah or to a few other people that are just really incredible. But what I like that model of pay for performance that I know that you guys use. I know that Tom uses. I know a lot of us are moving towards job ticket hour or commission. It really does help with production planning because you can generate more revenue per day. So, so we have somebody, Katrina, is asking about.
She's just
explaining how she's made some adjustments and got rid of low-paying customers, and she's making more profit and cleaning fewer homes.
Good for you, Katerina. Good for you. I'm thinking that you're on Smart Business Moves fairly frequently, and I don't think that that's a shock for the people that are on Smart Business Moves, are all feeling a lot more confident about making some of these changes and getting rid of some of these jobs that we're not making money, that we're actually costing you money. You can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, one of the things, kind of one of my mentors early on. So I doubt Kathy Gage is still watching Smart Business Move. She's retired. She's moved on.
She does every once in a while. I just talked to her.
Okay, so one of the things Kathy told me early on was every single job you need to go ahead and run an audit on it and make sure that you didn't go over your allowed hours. And she did this religiously. Now I was pretty sloppy about it early on because I didn't have a good way to do it. Now I just hit a report button and I pull that data. But no matter what you're doing, you shouldn't be waiting to find out a year from now whether your jobs are off. Yeah. I mean, every single day you should look at like the time that your technicians took to clean the house versus actual. And that's going to really be a big move that you can put in place today that will drive down your cost of goods sold.
Didn't Kathy make her cleaning professionals at the end of the day with a calculator, paper, and pencil do the calculation themselves?
Yes, and then they had to write an explanation. So if they were off on the percentage, they had to write an explanation on the job of what happened. She held them accountable to a level that I've never seen anybody do. I tried to do it. I just couldn't. I couldn't stick with the process because it was. I mean, I just didn't want to be there every day, to be totally honest. But Kathy was a very hands-on owner, and that process was really critical to how she sold her business, and was able to sell it at a good profit because she was able to demonstrate every single job made money. I mean, she didn't mess around. She was a financial person.
Yeah. So we talked about this on Monday with Chris Willett, and he has been doing this every single day and getting tons of benefit from it. Not just financially, but he was saying how much benefit he's getting with the engagement of the people in his office, and everybody's just in a better spot. So
yeah, that's winning.
That's me. I know, yeah, Marina. I see you all the time.
It's little micro wins. Like if you can solve a problem, like, so not, instead of waiting to fix something big, it's just a little micro win that you can have every day. Hey, I saw a job that was off. I talked to my cleaning tech. It was off because of this. Another thing scheduling wise that I did recently within my business was there's zones that we schedule everything into, and a zone is like a zip code or multiple zip codes. I had some zones that were too big, and so the geographic area could have been 5 miles from end to end. I basically broke all of my zones up into 2 miles, basically 2 square miles, so that when I'm scheduling, even just visually moving blocks around, like if I know that a color code, if I schedule everything within a single color code, there's going to be no more than 2 miles between any job. That just quickly visually helps me quite a bit.
I think that was a huge break for me for scheduling, was our map code system. I actually brought up a compass, a color-coded compass, to color code everything so that the colors are also relational to each other, so that even if somebody is brand new in the office, they can pop in, see the colors, and be like, those are both variations of pink. Exactly. They must be close to each other, and do that. And then I've also been thinking about breaking down our map zones a little bit more. We don't have a huge service area, which is good, but there's enough traffic around here that even if they're in the same map code right now, it can still take 20 minutes to get from one to the other, when really we should be shrinking that down a lot for sure.
Yeah, I want to just share, just so we can talk about colors. You can share it or I can share. I have it pulled up. But I have a master schedule pulled up with what we're talking about as far as screen colors and things like that. This is kind of old fashioned, guys. If you have if you're not using software, you can just do this on a whiteboard and just have some magnets and create some schedule density by coloring your zones. So this is kind of subtle here, but these are 2 different shades of yellow. These are 2 different zones. And what I was just talking about is that zones that are adjacent to each other is where you can schedule. These are 2 different shades of pink here, and reds and pinks can kind of go together for us. But the darker it is, the better. I mean, it's just internal visualizing colors. And then when I see something like this, I'm like, we got to move this monthly. Mm-hmm. This shouldn't be here. I know there's probably some reason my staff did this. But maybe one thing that could be happening here is my employees can start from their homes. So maybe this employee lives close to this house, and then we can just work our way in. So
And it's kind of funny because you mentioned Kathy Gage. I've heard it said that she was the one that actually invented or created this idea of putting the even and odd weeks together the way you're showing it there. And Ajia's here, and Ajia was the one that, through building these like mind-blowing spreadsheets, actually took it to another level. I want to swing back around and let Ajia talk about that a little bit, but I've got a couple of comments here. I want to recognize that Denise in the house, and she hasn't been with us in a while, or at least I haven't seen her. So it's awesome to have you here.
Hey,
Got some hats over here. I should just put one on for no particular reason.
Close enough to 4th of July, right? 7/14, 7/4.
And Wayne and Gus are mentioning that we monitor time cleaning daily, as well as request cleaners to help with the logistics in terms of drive time. We adjust accordingly.
And Wayne has to. Wayne covers a huge service area. So Wayne, thanks for being here today. I had a conversation with him. He's covering like 40 square. I mean, I cover 11 square miles, maybe more than that, but like he's going like 40 miles away from his central office.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right, we just started doing something that is kind of helpful. We haven't been doing it for very long, so Wayne, you might be doing something like this too. We created a Slack channel for each team, and so each team checks in each day with their drive time. So because we're having so much building, road construction, etc. So we got to be able to, and Maps isn't working right now because of all the road construction. Mm-hmm. So the teams are putting into Slack any drive time that's over 5 minutes or 5 minutes more than was budgeted for them. And we have seen a good reduction just doing that too.
What do you think you could do? Could you pass that on to the customers in any significant way, or is that just sort of baked in right now?
Yeah, I don't think so. We just need to tighten things up, make sure that any teams that, if we have a team of 2 going out to jobs where we have this, then we got to break them up and get them into solos. We got to be working that, getting pushback. We're in a driving schedule.
Yeah, I mean, Donna's kind of raising a point here of, you can modify your driving schedule, but if you start mixing up which techs are going to which customers, that can be a problem. That's an interesting question. What's more important?
We've done it a couple of times where we've reached out to the clients of being like, we need to rework their schedules. If you want to keep this person, we just might need to move you to another day and rework within the team. And we've done that. We used to do that really regularly. And now we've been able to keep up on it more since it's within Made Central. It makes it a lot easier to catch it before somebody's able to get attached to somebody. But as far as those initial reworkings, it was very intense, but it was like, we would make the ideal schedule and be like, all right, we know you like this person, but we need you to move to Thursdays because that's when they're in your area. And we had zero pushback from that. Being able to just at least group up together by day within that technician. I'm about to need to do that again with this major growth. It's about time that I think we need to move some things around within the teams again.
We were talking about that with Chris too. He does that every 6 months. He optimizes his schedule religiously every 6 months, finds out anybody that accidentally got popped onto the wrong day or has just over time moved, skipped a clean and said, oh no, that's okay. Start rotating me from this other day. You guys all know that can happen. And now you're in the wrong area on the wrong week, right? So that can happen. He's really good at doing that every 6 months. I'm always impressed. He's like, oh, I've got to optimize the schedule again.
Do you look at your schedule sometimes, Liz or Tom, as you just be like, how did this Monday only have 5,000? We've got 8,000 on every other day. We really messed up.
Yeah. I had a good conversation with my sales guy probably about a month ago. I was like, I need you to be looking at the totals at the top of the master schedule because Thursday has $2,000 more than every other day of the week, and we are dying on Thursdays right now. So Thursdays closed off. Pay attention to the top. Keep it level, please.
Yeah, that's a big part of revenue plan. Like, I know that I've got one Monday of my 4-week rotation that is like this. I was going to pull it up in a report. We don't have to look at it, but I've got this one Monday. We kind of average out about 7,500 plan with just recurring revenue. And it looks like they've sorted it out. It's actually fixed. I pushed hard on this. I don't have this going on anymore. So we had this one Monday that was like $2,000 lower than all the other days. And I was like, we got to either like move some other customers to this day or do something, because it's just too hard to sell a Monday, $2,000 in one times. Nobody wants to come into work on a Monday if they know they've got, 2 back-to-back deep cleans or something like that.
I never really worry too much about Mondays because I can pretty much get someone to take that day off if I have a light Monday. I really, really, really don't want to be driving all over the place. I would rather have fewer jobs on a day that are tight than have more money on the day and I got a lot of drive time, because that's just going to end up costing me money and it's frustrating. And my people are frustrated too. They don't want to drive heck and gone. So they'd rather take the day off.
Any other hacks you guys are using right now? Like just like quick tips that everybody can use to put into place, like some scheduling efficiency. I know you're really good at, spreadsheets and moving things around.
I mean, right now I haven't had to do a whole lot. And I mean, again, thanks to Made Central for integrating all of that, because it makes it so much easier. I usually go once a week and I set the next week, and I really look for any new clients that may not be in the best spot. So people that haven't met their recurring team yet, that I'm able to just like move over on the same day, same time or whatever, but be able to like just optimize it that way. I do that weekly, just to catch any new clients before they get attached.
Well, and you guys recently switched over to solos. It has not, I mean, you only got fully solo. Gosh, it's only been a few months now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we fully switched middle of December. So it's been about 6 months that we've been fully solo again, and that has made it so much easier. I honestly cannot believe how much easier it is to schedule efficiently with solos. That has been insane.
Well, when you're only trying to get 2 jobs on a day versus 4 to 6, like it's really hard to get. It's really hard to get above 75% efficiency with teams.
Yep.
I consistently see 80 to 90% efficiency with solos. Have you looked at that percentage and like, the efficiency of just of their day?
Yeah, I mean, it's consistently at the like 88 range. And then I have some that are, that have really tight schedules that are in like the 95 range, like where they're just like the only time is 1 minute of drive and their 30-minute lunch, and that's it.
Right. Plus, when you're doing solos and you schedule them really efficiently, because they're starting and finishing at customer jobs, you might only be paying them 2 or 3 miles for the day.
And additionally, even though we don't pay the drive to work, I also changed all of our team colors to match the map code that they live in. So that was probably the biggest hack that I could have found, because now they're even closer to where they live. They are only meeting up with other people if we end up having to send help or they have duplicate jobs or anything like that. They are able to, they're seeing all the same people because they all live in the same area too.
We do the same thing. So do you kind of look at the schedule efficiency map tool or something like that and just kind of make sure that like they're starting where they're like where
I just changed the colors of the team to our map colors. So everybody that lives in that same map code has their team color on the side is that color of the map code that they live in. And it actually, like, not on purpose, it created a pod system for us too, which I've been wanting to do for years. It accidentally created a pod system based off of where everybody lives.
Can you share a screen?
What's a pod?
I'm not visualizing this.
Not okay.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait to hear about the pod system.
All right, let me see if I can get
Liz was saying something about all turnovers must be 24 hours, so you have adjustments and you can fit people in. What did you mean about that, Liz? All turnovers must be 24 hours, like give 24-hour notice, or what does that mean there? Fill us in a little bit.
I do like Denise saying 3 jobs a day for solos. We get a lot of solos doing 3 jobs away as well. I only require 2, and 3 is like if they want to make extra money. So that's kind of how we make the job kind of more appealing, is that like you only have to do 2 a day. If you're done by 2, you're done by 2. But if you can pull another job for us, that's great. Like, so.
Well, Chris was saying on Monday that his average efficiency currently is 95%, and his objective over the next few months is to get it to 100. And he's thinking on that. He's like, do I really want 100? But I think
can you have 100? I mean, you'd have to have the jobs like within a minute of each other.
So they have to be close together. There's 2 jobs close together, and they are going under on both jobs. So you
well, that would be productivity but it's a mix of both. I get it.
Yeah. I think a big part of how many homes, a technician can do in a day is how they're workloaded. What are the allowed hours for those homes? We're doing a lot more solos now than we did, prior to COVID. And, we have some solos that will do like 5 units a day, and they're smaller, they're apartments, but, if you can schedule like 5 apartments all in the same building, you can get a lot of work done.
Yeah. Nice.
And you all have a minimum anyway. And so that kind of solves that, like, that kind of solves that. That's probably a pretty profitable day because.
Yeah. I mean, truly, we got some techs that can do over $2,000 a week that way.
Wow.
Just sharing.
Oh, really nice. Tom's going to bring it up for us.
Yeah, we're right here.
Ajia.
I'm sorry. I'm just not paying attention.
No, you're good. I wasn't
It was
sure.
down the bottom. It says, wow, that looks pretty.
So, yeah. So like all these people live in our pink zone, and they drive to our pinks and purples mostly.
Oh, so the top header color is where they live. So just kind of zoom in so everyone can see the header color. So you've really dialed this in even more.
This is a great hack for those of you guys that don't know exactly what's going on. You're not familiar with Main Central. I'm going to just tell you a little bit, try and explain this a little bit more granularly. Is that a real word? Something like that.
It sounds like it should be.
Yeah, it should be. So
we'll submit it.
So what she's doing here is because because people can see color so quickly, you can see exactly if things are matching up, if they're going together, if they belong together. When you see color schemes that match and go together, it just feels more right. So what she's done is this awesome hack is she has the team itself has the color of the area that they live in, which is also the jobs that they clean in. So if they clean an area pink, a pink area, their team color is also pink. So that sounds like a really small thing. Like, so what? Your team color is the same as your area color. Yeah, but everything is more in alignment. And even for them, they feel like, oh, this is closer. These are my people. Oh. It's a very powerful little thing that she's doing there. That's super smart, Ajia. I can't believe you haven't shared this in MMA.
Sorry.
I think you're also totally making their lives better in a way that I know you're getting at, but you're cutting their commute down, the amount of time that they're away from their family. When you're just being incredibly thoughtful here, Ajia, on how you're scheduling. I know we did something similar, but yours looks better than mine. So we did the same thing with our teams, but yours is so what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when you're wearing matching clothes. Like
it's aesthetically pleasing. It's color coordinated.
Yeah.
We're in some sort of time warp, Tom. We gotta.
Yeah, what happened? Oops.
Mine does that all the time, Ajia. I love that that's happening to someone else. Donna, yes, on the whiteboard. Did you do it on the whiteboard with marker or did you use Post-its? So this system that Ajia was just showing, that's what Kathy Gage had created a long time ago. She had these little poster boards up on her walls, one for every single team, and she would move Post-it notes around just on these paper boards.
Yeah, but if there was a door that opened up and blew them all over, she was in trouble. But that wasn't her. it wasn't her only system. She was using Service CEO Desktop back in the day, but
Yeah.
she had this as like a tool to help her visualize what she was doing.
Mhm.
I met Donna Garman today. Actually, she had a demo, and she kind of geeked out on this a little bit because she remembered the old day when she did this on a whiteboard and was using markers, and we were talking about the old days because I had mine with magnets because I saw Kathy's and I was like, man, if a windy day happened, so I had to put mine. I bought magnets and then had colors and stuff like that. But yeah, man, so many good ideas. We've talked about Kathy 3 times. We have to send her this video, but a lot of good ideas that I have came from Kathy because she was such a sharer. And then she went to everything and learned from other people. So they may not even have been her ideas always 100%, but she would execute on them better than most anyone else. She would take an idea and she would execute on it. So that's the biggest thing I can take away from any of this today is maybe find 1 or 2 little things of what we talked about and just hammer them home, like execute on something today.
Yeah. And really the smart idea is to pick one. So you don't need to do all of them. You don't even want to do all of them because by the time you got all 20 things done, you probably needed to switch over anyway. Some of those didn't even need to be done anymore.
Mhm.
Pick the one that's going to be most impactful for your business and just do that. Just hammer that little puppy down until it's perfect.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something else, Liz.
Nope, not today.
I would tell you that going to solos was one thing that I really thought was very impactful for my business, and that was a scary move. I was doing it kind of slow, and then one day my wife walks in the office and she's just like, "What is the holdup? Just do it." So she starts moving stuff on the board, and by the end of the day, I had like 12 solos, and I was like, I guess I just needed to ask Angela to come in the office and do this. Because I've tried to let her step back and do family stuff, but she is very impactful when she comes in and does things. So my wife is my business partner in my business, and we've had a lot of family stuff and where she's kind of stepped back a little bit. But every once in a while, I just kind of bring her in as a consultant to kind of get like her view of things, and then
A little push.
Yeah, just I just tell her not to like hurt anybody's feelings too much because she's she'll come in like a whirlwind and then be like, well, leave it for us all to do. I'm like, as long as it's a good idea, that's fine. But don't just like leave us like with all these ideas that we can't execute on. Like give us
or everything that's wrong.
Right, exactly.
Wrong. This isn't good. You guys got to fix this, fix that. Yeah.
Yeah. And as a little side benefit for those of us, I mean, we've been doing teams for years and we're still kind of a hybrid model, but we've got a lot more solos than we used to. And we're starting to get rid of some automobiles. And we're getting quotes on cars that are several years old that the amount of money that they're offering because there's just no cars to be bought anymore is pretty much what we paid for the car when we bought it new. It's crazy.
Wow. Are you guys having that good of luck? You guys have new cars, Ajia, over there.
Not so much. I don't think the Sparks are they don't
as well.
They don't hold their value so well, but we're doing okay. I think the problem is just trying to for us it's been just having the time to do it. Like it's oddly time consuming to sell a car, much less sell 10 cars. I've gotten really good at bill of sales and title transfers, and I've got it all on backup over here for the next ones, and it's just it is very intensive.
I need you to know this because I have to do all that myself. That is story of my life.
Yeah.
But maybe the Sparks. You had Chevy Sparks. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still think it probably made it easier to unload them. Like I had Corollas and Prius Cs. We sold like 10 of them during COVID. I have to maybe 9. I don't remember. It's a lot of cars, and it was a lot of paperwork and a lot of selling cars. But every one of them, we made substantially more than I would have the year before. Like maybe $2,000 or $3,000 more.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So Tom's talking about Corollas. So I have a Corolla that we were leasing directly from Toyota. And the dealership was like, we'll pay you $14,000 for that car. And the option for me to buy it was like 10. So I can only imagine what they're trying to sell that used Corolla that only sold for $22,000 new.
Yeah.
They're having to mark it up. So yeah, it's probably a tough time to buy a car, but if you got to buy a car, you got to buy a car, and then you're in that market. So yeah, if you have to unload a car right now, you've got some excess vehicles. That might be something to to think about. I still have 1 or 2 that I'm thinking about selling.
Yeah, we've got 3 that I'm still like, I'm not ready to get rid of them yet. I don't know, but they're there.
Ajia, Rochelle wants to know if you ever thought about selling them to your employees who don't have great cars.
That's so funny because that just like flew through my head about 15 seconds ago as well, that I have one employee whose car just recently blew up and she is borrowing one and was talking about trying to get another car. And I was like, why don't we just sell them?
And it's already wrapped. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we actually, I mean,
Maybe
just like
at a discount, but she has to keep the wrap.
Yeah, she can get a discount to keep the wrap. But yeah, that was that's just like flew through my head, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? Like a rent to own process, even kind of thing. Just you're in my brain, Michelle. You were literally in my brain. Like if you watched the video, you probably would have seen me like drift off for a second. Where I was like, huh.
It happens all the time to me, Ajia. Don't worry about it.
Kicked my video while you guys were talking. I'm like trying to fix all this thing.
What do you got there in front of you there, Matt?
What's that?
What is that on the side of your screen?
That's like I'm in a closet. That's my shoe rack.
So funny.
I'm in a closet.
I repurposed my closet. I'm building an office in my basement, but that's not going to be done until the end of the summer. So
for now, the shoe rack is it.
Yeah, I'm like, totally kicked my camera here.
I just have dogs in the background, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm pixelated, so hey, we've all got our worries over here. Well, we've all got problems. So what else are you doing, Ajia, that you're not sharing with the world until you get live on Smart Business Moves and then share?
I don't know. I shared it. I'm not really sure. I feel like, what other scheduling changes have I done recently? I don't, I mean, doing it weekly was probably a big one.
Oh, okay. Wait, I have one. So one thing that you could talk about right now is when you are switching over to solos, like everybody always talks about, switching to solos is the best thing ever. I want to tell you how many days that Ajia was in group in like meltdown mode about solos. So it's not as easy as we might make it sound. So yeah, not at all. So I can maybe talk about, it was so impactful.
Oh yeah.
It's what you had to keep moving forward. But there were times where it was like, oh my goodness.
And it was like, I feel like, if I hadn't been in the mindset of like, I know this is the right decision and I know this is going to be like 100% for the better, I would have given up 100%. It was going through the process of pulling apart the teams, especially since we had lost so many people during COVID as far as employees, that we only had like one really solid person on a lot of our teams that those clients were attached to. So that was really hard that I wasn't able just to split them between the 2 people. I had to really like pick and choose who got to stay with that person. A lot of that really depended on the drive time, where that person lived, having to get people to say they were okay having long drives. So like on my master schedule, I still have several solo technicians that have horrible drives because they wanted to keep those clients. So I'm like, all right, we're just going to take a productivity kind of hit for that. But I mean, the pulling apart the teams took a really long time. Kind of creating ghost teams, moving people over. It was very, very tough for about 4 weeks.
Ghost teams. How would you define a ghost team?
I didn't have anybody assigned to it yet, but I was just like kind of pulling the houses over there to
jobs on it.
Yeah, to visualize it, but I was still scheduling as teams. So I called them ghost teams essentially, where they weren't colored yet. They had all my color coding going on. They didn't have colors yet, so they were ghosts.
Okay.
That's what I started calling them in my head. But yeah, that was really stressful. And a lot of that had to do with the talking with the teams about it, the pushback of change. That was probably even more difficult than the scheduling aspect of it.
But you did say just today that you, by doing this, well, also switching over to Maid Central, obviously, but you were able to get rid of an entire person in your office, a scheduling person.
I mean, how much easier it is in the office by being remote solos and having Maid Central is mind-boggling. I mean, we're 300 clients bigger than we were when I came into the office, so we're almost double the size. And the amount of work is a fraction of what it was when I started in the office.
How many people run a company your size? How many back office support people are there? 3?
3.
Yeah, I have 3 as well, and the only reason I'm considering another person is a bilingual recruiter, just because no one in my office speaks any Spanish. So I'm like, I'm going to pull the trigger on that because I feel like that's the way that we're going to just open up the channel.
We have a swing person too that's a quality assurance person. So she's running out in the field most of the day doing quality checks and whatnot, but she's not a revenue producing position.
Also, hey, look at what Rochelle says. Can you see her comment, Ajia, over on the right? Not that one, Tom, the one up.
About help?
Yeah. So this is a thing. This is a real thing. You would agree with Rochelle, like 100%, right? So absolutely, when you're switching over from teams to solos, this is something that can happen a lot. I know it's happened to a lot of people that have switched over.
Yeah, I mean, when we first switched, everybody was speedy. They were fast. They were like all about it. And then, started to get help, particularly for like initial cleans, like those first time ins. They're like, oh my gosh, I need all the assistance right now. I need all the help in the world. And they're like, oh, it's that easy to get help at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm just going to do this every day. And we went through a couple of months of dreadful issues going around help. And then at the beginning of last month, we changed the process that they have to request help and somebody else has to volunteer. We don't delegate help anymore at all. We stay out of it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
If a technician gets help, does it diminish their pay?
No, because we're straight hourly.
Okay. If you have an incentive pay plan like revenue share or job ticket hour, a lot of times people don't want help because they're giving up money at that point.
We had, oh goodness. So this was, that was probably one of the big turning points for us was at the end of May. One of our girls, we only have one person on commission because she is fast, like so fast and has amazing quality. So she's our only person on commission and she'll do, like 12 hours by herself a day and do amazing work. Like it's absolutely insane. But she went to go help somebody and the girl, she doesn't work here anymore for this reason, but also because of the helping thing too. But made a comment along the lines of, well, we can just, go slower so we get paid more. And the commission girl came back to me and told me, she's like, I was the one person she shouldn't have said that to. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because you just made $150 on that job because you finished it in 3 hours when it was supposed to take 6. So, and she only worked there for, the person that made that comment. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the mindset that people are getting to around help. And now it's gone. Like the new system has helped so much. We're sending maybe help to 2-3 people a day. Today there was like nobody. And instead of 6, 7, 8 people a day.
Yeah. So great point, Rochelle. Thank you for bringing that up. Really, really big thing to worry about.
Robin wants to know, Ajia, do you have like a maximum amount of hours you would assign to a house?
Yeah, we do 4 hours and 15 minutes as our max. So once it hits that 4.5 hour point, we send 2 people.
Okay. So you would never send somebody to, say, a 5-hour house and say that's your house and that's all you're doing today?
Not typically, not unless that technician has told us that they want to do that house alone.
What's the reason for that?
That they would want to?
No, what's the reason that you would limit the amount of, a house that exceeded, 4.12?
Yeah, it was twofold. So one was the technicians. It was very much in their head that it was too much, it's too big, it's too much, I can't do it. And we couldn't seem to get past that hump. The other part that probably was even more, because I think I probably could have worked through the mind block, was the clients that want somebody in their house that long.
All day, right.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest part, was clients big. I mean, even now I've got people that are, a 2.5 hour, 3 hour house that are pushing back on having one person in their house for 3 hours. So that is probably the biggest pushback we've gotten about solos, is clients wrapping their head around having somebody there that long.
We created a tag for customers that want teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so we still run three, maybe 4 teams a day. So I have a teams tag, but I tell those customers that that's fine, but that our trainees are on teams, and you'll have some of our best trainers, but you're going to see a lot of new faces, because that's where all of our new hires are.
Well, we only have one team, and it's because one of the girls just can't drive, and she was with us beforehand, and doesn't have a vehicle. She legally can't drive. So she's partnered up with somebody, but they're my only designated team. But we have team houses, and we use the same thing with tags. And we only do it typically for the first house of the day, that they'll meet up for that one house, and they separate and do their own house individually at the end of the day. But that way they're still able to get the 2 same people. We're able to keep it consistent in the morning, and it's like having a team, but they're still solos, and they still have their own job to get to after that house.
Let me know what you think of this. We charge people $25 extra if they have to have first cleaning of the day. Must have. Not just prefer it, but if they say they must have it. Do you guys do anything like that?
I love that.
I do too.
So
I love it now. I don't love it a year ago, but I love it now.
I've been doing this for several years, and there's a setting in Made Central. I know we've been talking about Made Central a lot today, but there's a setting in Made Central where you can go and set preferred time or must-have times.
Mm-hmm.
If a customer during a sale tells us they must have a time, and we want to try and say yes to them, the only time that we can guarantee them is between 8:30 and 9:30 every day, and we can get you on that spot. But there's a chance you might get it if you just prefer it, and if you're flexible, you might just get it for free. But if you must have it, we charge you $25 extra, because those clients that must have anything can really screw up your schedule and your profitability and your ability to schedule efficiently. Yeah. So that's kind of how we address that. I've been doing that for years and really haven't had a lot of pushback on it, because you might get it anyway, because we're half of our cleanings. We tell them half of our cleanings are first jobs anyway, or not quite half.
So I think what I wanted to do is similar to that, but on the opposite side, is push up our hourly rate again, and do a discount for flexible people.
Yeah, I think that's smart too.
It's pretty much the same thing, but being able to really hone in that what we want is for you to be flexible with us.
Psychologically, that's probably the better solution, to be honest.
That you're getting a reward for it instead of a punishment for it. So
yeah, psychologically, that's a better solution. I just don't know. I don't know the answer of how to do that with software yet, or with. But I think that's coming. I mean, I think that solutions like that are coming someday, and we're building them in Made Central, and we're trying.
I'm making notes.
Yeah.
I loved calls with Tom, because he's got those notes going when I get to talk, and I love it.
Well, we do have some things on the drawing board that address this. I mean, eventually we're going to be pricing, jobs the way airlines price tickets, and if you want to guarantee something, if you want a particular time, if you want, it's not a matter of no, you can't have. It's just a matter of how much you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I love
that. The variable price market that the airlines have done, that's been around for 20 or 30 years with their software. So Sabre is the software. It's funny because several of the airlines use the same ticketing system because it can do this variable pricing thing. And it's crazy all the variables that go into a ticket about how full the schedule is that day, or any combination of things. And I use the example of you don't go to the best salon in town and ask the best person cutting hair to give you the same price as the lady at Great Clips that just got out of hairdressing school. It's just not how it works. And yet that's how we've kind of done it in our industry. We charge the same rate for the best people we have, as if there's no difference, because there's such a variety of skill level and difference even among our technicians, that we don't recognize that very well. And I think that that's going to be something that we're going to have to think about in the future, and building, more efficient schedules and profitable schedules. But yeah.
Robin wants to know if you charge the same surcharge for a set time in the morning or afternoon.
I can't guarantee an afternoon time with any predictability, so I don't do that in the afternoon. I don't know if anyone else does either, but the only thing I can predict that's going to predictably happen in my business every single day is first thing. If I gave them an afternoon
You start
time,
the day now.
yeah, if I gave them an afternoon time, there's a chance we'd have to have a team sitting in a car. I'd have to charge a much bigger surcharge than even $25 to guarantee that, maybe 50 or even more, because if a team has to wait an hour between houses, 2 hours, that's just not something I want to try and manage.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben does this at Rain City Maids in Seattle. He's able to guarantee his afternoon slots. He's the only person I know that's been able to reliably do that and make money. Make money consistently.
The important part.
Yeah.
And not upset a lot of customers.
Right. Yeah.
Ben, if you're watching, come on and tell us about this.
Yeah. You get him on here to talk about that.
He won't share.
No.
It's a trade secret.
That's not something that he shares really well with a very select group of people.
Got it.
Yeah. That's his gig.
Okay.
He's not coming on here and sharing with people that are in Seattle. That's not happening.
Yeah. So Liz, you're out of luck. I know you're not in Seattle directly, but there's a lot of people watching that are. So
Yeah.
you're in the same state. He might not let you, even in the same state.
Yeah. He's pretty good at talking with me. I'm far enough away.
Okay.
You're not a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some of that. I personally believe this is such an execution game. I'll tell anyone what I do. I just don't think 99% of people will execute at the level that I'm willing to execute at. And, that's the thing. Most of the people that are watching this are probably good at execution. And, that's or maybe you think you aren't, but you're better than a lot of the people that are still, one-man shows. You're growing a business, you're executing. I mean, most people, I have people hitting me up all the time about entrepreneurial stuff on Facebook, like on Messenger, and like, hey, what should I do? What kind of business should I start? I'm like, what are you good at? I don't know. Like, that's such a broad question. Everybody wants to do this stuff, but like at some point you just got to go and do something, and so that's why I'm not afraid to share, because I know 99% of people aren't going to go execute, even if it's a business down the road.
I want to talk about foundations real quick, because 1 year in foundations, we had one of Derek's direct competitors, not even 15 minutes down the road. Remember that treat? Was it?
I do.
And people were like, how can he do that? He's like, of course I want her here. I want her to be successful. The more successful she is, the more successful I am. High tide raises all boats was his thing. And she's only going to do the stuff that she wants to do, and she's going to tweak it anyway. She's not going to do my thing my way. So, and turned out to be right.
Another side of that same coin is I want more and more people to be successful in my market, so that they're charging the same prices as me. So they're not being like, God, Better Life Maids is so expensive. I have two really good close competitors that I actually have lunch with pretty regularly, and just like, I'll tell them anything that I'm doing because I want them to be successful. I'm like, you guys really need to get on the same software as me.
You want them to be professional. You want them to provide high quality, and you want them to be charging high rates.
Yes. Charge more money. Make me
So
time
we are at the top of the hour, so we're just about done for the week. Ajia, as always, you are awesome. You're on our short list of favorite people in the industry. Truly.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing today.
Yeah, thank you.
We're having Chris Koenig on Monday. Is that right, Liz?
Koenig. Yeah, Chris Koenig. That's her
I
last
always
name.
called her Koenig.
I know.
For years.
That's why
And
I'm
I've got it wrong for years. Chris, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Chris is awesome. We're going to love having her. But I do have to say also, real quick before we go, any of you that struggle managing your operations managers or your general managers, that's what Ajia does. Hit me up for MMA group and let me tell you how we can help you with that. All right. So, yes, we are going to have Chris next week. Is she on Monday, though, dear, Tom?
That's what it says, the 19th.
All right, cool. I thought she was on Wednesday for some
The
reason.
schedule doesn't lie, does it?
Yes, it does.
Sometimes it does. So we'll be here Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern. You guys have a good rest of your week. We'll see you then. Thanks
Bye,
again, Ajia. Thanks, Matt. Bye-bye.